In this video, I'm going to show you how to get successful ABS prints easily on any printer. Now, this would be the time that a mirror image of me comes in on that screen and clears his throat and goes, ahem, and then I say, almost any printer, except I'm terrible at video editing, so just imagine that happen. We're also going to talk about why you'd want to get good ABS prints, what the characteristics of ABS are that are better than PLA. Before we jump into all those stats, let's just go down the line and I'll show you what I'm working with here. Now, the first over here, this is my daily driver, the printer that I'm running all the time in the garage. This is my Flashforward AD5X. It's an excellent printer and I haven't had any problems with the thing. You will notice though that this doesn't look like a normal AD5X because I've done some modifications to it. The modifications I've done to it are specifically for ABS printing. Now, even though this one's the star of the show, if you don't have one of these, don't worry, because right here, I've got kind of your more traditional open frame printer. This is a longer LK5 Pro. It's kind of based on the Ender model of printer. And then moving down here, I have some of the more inexpensive printers. This is a Athena, I don't know how you pronounce it, Tina 2. Really inexpensive printer. And then, because we might as well talk about these things, isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? These little printers. We're going to talk about this and why this one cannot print in ABS, so you kind of know what you're looking for. So before we jump into all the tips and tricks for ABS prints, let's talk about why you would want to print in ABS. Now, PLA is a great material to print in, but it's got its downsides. The biggest downside for me is that it is very temperature sensitive. If you leave it, say, on the dashboard of your car, it'll get warm enough in your car that PLA plastic will start to warp. The other thing is, although it's very strong, it's also brittle. So sometimes, depending on the part you're making, it's going to be too brittle and it will shatter. ABS is a little bit more elastic, I don't know what the word is, but it also holds up to higher temperatures. So I've made parts and stuff like this that I sit on the dashboard of my truck in the California desert, and I haven't had problems with them getting soft. So what are the characteristics of ABS that make ABS plastic harder to print in than PLA? And how do we get around those? That's what we're going to be talking about. The first two, and you're going to have to make sure your printer can do this, are temperatures. The first temperature is nozzle temperature. With PLA, you're going to be printing in like a 180 to 220-ish Celsius range for nozzle temp. ABS is higher than that in like a 220 to 260-ish range. So you need to make sure your printer can print in those higher temperatures. The next issue is the bed temperature and bed adhesion, which is kind of a two-part thing, but the first part of that is just the bed temperature. PLA doesn't really need a heated bed, or if it does, it's a low heat. With ABS, you need to get your heated bed up to about 100 degrees Celsius to get proper adhesion and also to keep your chamber temperature warm enough. And that's that third temperature, chamber temperature. There's two things that matter. You want a warm chamber temperature. I've found, I'm in the States, so I keep talking in Celsius, but I do everything else in Fahrenheit. I found around 100 degrees Fahrenheit chamber temperature seems to be perfect. But what it really hates is fluctuations in chamber temperature. You want to make sure your chamber temperature is constant throughout the entire print and there's no sudden swings in temperature. And we'll talk about how to accomplish that in a second. And then finally is bed adhesion. ABS has trouble sticking to some beds. Now the new PEI beds, I've had a great success with those things. They stick, I haven't had any problems. But some of the older beds and the glass beds absolutely have had issues. And I'm going to show you, if you've got the older print beds or the glass print beds, how you can get successful adhesion also. So at this point, hopefully you've assessed if your printer can hit those temperatures on the nozzle and print bed. Now we have to talk about that chamber temperature. And let's move back over to my daily, my AD5X. Now this one stock doesn't exactly look like this. I've done some modifications to this thing to make it print in ABS. Now this one has a aftermarket, well, it's not aftermarket, it's made by Flashforge, but an enclosure kit. They send you all the panels, all the hinges, all the hardware, and then you 3D print the actual enclosure. I also made some modifications to the enclosure. Over here on the side, there was an opening, and you really want to keep your chamber temperature up and not let drafts in. So I modified the little piece over here so I could put a piece of felt in there and seal it all off. And I will have the STL files available so you can print that for yourself if you're going this route and you happen to have this printer. The other modification that I did, which isn't necessary, but because ABS prints are a little bit more finicky, I installed their camera. I've got a camera in there where I can keep an eye on my prints, both from my computer and from my phone. Now, in the past, what I've done is I've just had a little web camera in my garage, and I can keep an eye on the printers that way. Because I'm doing a really long job, I can do that. A neat little pointer is if you're gonna go that route like this, where I would have this thing pointed straight down at my printer, This printer is not on Wi-Fi, so there's no easy way to shut it down. However, if you put a smart plug on that thing, you can shut it down from your phone anywhere. It just cuts full power to the printer. So if you start making spaghetti, you can shut it down. Now, if you find yourself in the situation where you've got the 85X, but you don't want to spend the extra money on that kit, you don't want to have to do all the printing, or you've got something like this that doesn't have a kit, you can find enclosures online. However, most of them are very expensive and they're big and bulky. Enter this thing. This is a greenhouse. I picked this thing up for like 20 bucks, 15 bucks. I don't remember how much. I'm sure it's gone up because economy. But I picked this thing up for just a few bucks and it folds down really nice and small. And when you need it, you can pop it up and throw it over your printer. It's a neat, cool little house. I've got stuff in the way right now, so I can't get it. There we go. More or less. So you can put it right over the top of your printer and hold that air temperature in. Now, the one thing I've noticed with this is it does do a very good job sealing everything in, but it's not the best insulator. And in the dead middle of winter, I did actually find myself draping towels over the top of this thing to hold in that air temperature. Now, in addition to keeping that air temperature up, the other thing is you want to keep it consistent. That's the other reason why one of these is so important. Right off camera over there is the side door to my garage, and cold air comes in that in the wintertime. Very cold air. California, but desert, so that nighttime air gets really cold. And I actually have, on this one, I ruined a 24-hour print because I noticed some spaghetti, a little bit of hairs forming, and I decided I wanted to clear them from the nozzle. I unzipped this thing, opened it up, reached my hand in, and I could hear the plastic cracking and making noises as it shifted. Because what happens with ABS, when there's any sort of a temperature change of ABS while it's in the print process, it starts to warp. It popped itself off the print bed, and my entire print was shot. So we've got our nozzle temperature set, we've got our print bed temperature set, we've got our air chamber kind of set up. The next thing is bed adhesion. And everybody's seen glue sticks and tape and all that stuff. Don't do any of it. I never had success with the tape, with the glue sticks, with anything else on print beds. If you can get your hands on a PEI print bed, like one of these things, for your printer, just do it. You will not be sorry. Stuff sticks to this like crazy. It sticks so well, I have remnants of ABS on here that I'm having trouble getting off. So now over here on this printer, I do not have a PEI print bed. And I could get one from this one, I never did. This print bed has a glass print bed. One side is a textured glass print bed, the other side is smooth glass. And with ABS, I print on the smooth glass side, but I treat it with an ABS slurry. So now let's jump into the Wayback Machine from when I made the video for that printer, and I'll show you how I make an ABS slurry.
Making the slurry is really easy. All you need is acetone, some of your ABS filament that you should already have, and a glass jar. Make sure you use glass. Acetone will chew right through a plastic container. You're just going to fill the jar with a little bit of acetone and then cut up a bunch of your filament into the jar. You can shake it up and give it about an hour and the filament will dissolve. Now you just wipe it onto your glass print bed with a paintbrush or a piece of rag, let it dissolve, and what's left is ABS that everything will adhere perfectly to.
Okay, so we've got all of our stuff on our printers all set. We've determined our nozzle temperature, our print bed temperatures are good. We've taken care of the air and chamber temperature and fluctuations there. We've made a slurry if we need to. Now we gotta jump inside to the slicer and set that thing up. So let's move inside onto the computer and I'll show you settings that'll help you on the computer get a very successful ABS print. Okay, so now I've got one of my slicers open, and I'm going to show this to you in two different slicers in case you're all new to this. But right now I've got Cura up, and in Cura there are going to be profiles for your printer. So I've shared my screen over here, so let's jump into Cura. So I've got here, this is my longer LK5 Pro. I'm using this as the first example in Cura because my other printer prints in Orca. Pull that up in a second. So first, make sure you have the correct profile loaded for your printer. And if you come over here, you can come down and add a printer, search for your printer, and then it should have profiles for each plastic in there. But you want to make sure that the settings are right because I've noticed sometimes that the ABS settings can be a little. Coming in here, after you do that, you're going to come over here and you're going to select your material. So there's all these different materials. You just go generic and ABS, set your nozzle size. This is 4mm, it's standard. And then we're going to come over here and all of this should have populated. The things you want to check are come down the line here, and you want to check and make sure that your printing temperature is where it should be. Now, I found the sweet spot on this printer is 250 degrees. I would first kind of trust the profile somewhat and then see if you have to tweak it. But 250 is perfect on this printer, and the build plate temperature is 100. Now, those are my settings. The actual settings that were in here originally, if we come in here, that's my custom profile, had the temperatures off a little bit, and I had to make some tweaks. So you may have to play around with the print temperatures, but that 250, 100 seems to be the sweet spot for most of my printers. The other thing I've noticed they goof up sometimes is the cooling. If you come over here to cooling, originally this thing was checked enable print cooling, and with ABS you typically don't want to enable print cooling, although some printers are different. My FlashForge does spool up the fan a small amount, and it does just fine, and I haven't screwed with that. So you could enable the print cooling and then make the print speed like 20% and do that. Up to you. But that's something I would recommend turning it off, and then if you have issues, you can turn it back on. So that's how you would set it up in something like Cura. Now let's move over to Orca, which is similar but different. And we're gonna actually make a print from there so I can show you it printing out in the garage. Okay, changing gears now, I've got Orca up here, and I'm actually going to be doing a print. I'm going to be printing actually a blank for a watch case. I have another horrible addiction of watches, and I have a watchmaking channel, so if you want to check that out, I'll have a link down below. You can check out the project I'm working on here. This is kind of a goofy one, but that's okay. So we're going to throw the model on here, and I need to actually print this one in ABS because I need to vapor smooth it. That's one of the other cool things you can do with ABS is vapor smoothing. I'll have that in that other video, so when it goes up, I'll have it linked. Anyway, we've got it in there. Now we want to make sure that we print this thing in ABS. So we need to make sure that we tell it that's what we're doing. And because this one is a multicolor printer, I have multiple spools on there. So we're going to come in here and tell it we are on this drop down here. We're going to be using ABS plastic. Now, here there are all the presets for FlashForge because that's what it said. But I'm not actually using FlashForge plastic, but it's all going to be the same stuff. We want to come down here again and check and make sure that all those settings are correct. Now, like I mentioned on this one, it does like to turn on part cooling, and it's been very good with it, but the part cooling for the ABS on the preset here is very low compared to what it would be with PLA. Since I've had success with it, I haven't screwed with the settings on the Orca slicer set up for FlashForge. So now that all set, let's send this sucker to the printer and get an ABS print going. And what's neat is with the FlashForge 85X, I can actually monitor my print from my computer and also from my phone. So my phone just alerted me that this print is done, and there it is. Now, another important thing to do with ABS prints is allow them to cool in the printer before you remove them. If you pop the thing open, you risk a sudden temperature change and them actually kind of falling apart. So now with this one, we're going to be doing a vapor smoothing trick. You can see here, that is pretty much a perfect ABS print. And this is actually going to be used to make a mold for a watch project. Like I mentioned, it's going to be on my other channel. So if you want to check out that channel, I'll have it linked down below. And once this project is up, I'll have it linked in the description as well. Now, I've got a lot of other 3D printing videos. If you want to check those out, I'll have the playlist down below. But if you want to check out this thing, the 85X, I'm going to have that link down below, as well as the kit for doing the enclosure and the camera and all that jazz. The video on this thing and getting this thing up and running is also down below. And actually, I have a video about this one as well. If you want to see what a $50 printer can do, I put this thing through its paces as well. Now, I hope this video helped demystify printing with ABS and made it a little less scary, because that seems to be the way things are. If you like videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. I've got lots of stuff just like this and other 3D printing and all sorts of tech videos and stuff like that on the channel, and more will be coming your way. If you have any questions about 3D printing, ABS printing, or any tips and tricks that you found along the way, please share them down in the comments section below. I think there's an unofficial contract that I have to ask you to hit that thumbs up button, so I'd appreciate that as well. And of course, thanks for watching.